The content and design of your presentation slides is not the only thing that attracts your audience attention. Your audience ability to read and understand your slides is very crucial for the success of your presentation. In this tutorial, I'm gonna show you exactly how you can make your slides more readable to your audience. So let's start. I prepared here 5 exercises in which I found many students, academics, and professionals are making in their presentation slides. I'm gonna explain those mistakes and fix them by using Microsoft PowerPoint. Please note that this is not a PowerPoint tutorial. So although I'm gonna use a number of features in PowerPoint here, I'm not gonna explain those features in detail. There are other places in which you can learn how to use PowerPoint. Also, I filled the slides here with text that I took from random websites and blogs. I haven't paraphrased the text here because I'm not focusing on the content of the text, but I'm only using the text to show you how to design readable slides and how to improve the formatting of the text. I left links of the sources from which I took the text in the description box below. Okay. With getting all of this out of the way, let's start with the first exercise. Now, what do you think the issues are in this slide? First of all, there is no slide title, as you can see here. Also, all the text is presented in a big paragraph. Do you think this is helpful for both the presenter and audience? What are the issues that the presenter and audience might have with this way of presenting the content? Instead of this way, I think it's better to present the content in multiple bullet points. Let's say that you are presenting this slide, and in the middle of your presentation, your mind goes blank. Now you want to continue, but you don't know where you stopped. So you look at the slides. Can this slide in its current form really help you remember the points that you are supposed to present? No. Another example. Let's say one of your audience lost their attention in the middle of your presentation. Now, if that audience look at the slide to catch up with your presentation, do you think this slide will help that person to know exactly what you are talking about? Also, let's say a person came late to your presentation, and that person wants to know what you are talking about. So he or she looked at the slide. Do you think this slide in its current form will help that person figure out what you are talking about? No, because the slide is full of text, and that makes it harder for you as a presenter and for your audience to make use of it. In other words, the slide doesn't aid your presentation. Now, let's fix this issue. I think that there is too much information in the slide, so I'm gonna split the content into 2 slides. First of all, I'm gonna deal with the issue of the missing title. So I'm gonna copy this one and then paste it in the title. Okay? Reasons why English learners are encouraged to read in English. However, I think that the title is a little bit long, so I'm gonna summarize it a little bit. So I'm gonna say here, why should English learners read in English? That's a perfect title. So I'm gonna also reduce the font size. So this is perfect. So here what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remove this paragraph, this small paragraph. Now what I end up with is the points about how English learners should read in English. So I'm gonna split those points into 2 slides. So here I'm gonna create another copy of the same slide to split the points between them. Let's see how many points I can fit in the first slide. So I'm gonna have, this is the first point, this is the second point. Okay, I think 3 points would be more than enough here, so I'm gonna delete the rest. So here what I'm gonna do is to increase the font size. I'm gonna increase it to 32. I'm gonna also add a bullet point symbol, and I'm going also to increase the spacing between bullet points. That already looks better. However, you can see here that the bullet point symbols are a little bit close to the text, so I'm gonna put some indentation here. So let's say that I'm gonna put a 1 centimeter indentation, and that is perfect. So I'm gonna do the exact same thing for the second slide. So I'm gonna delete the first 3 points because they are already included in the first slide. So first point, second point, and this is the third point. So I'm gonna put the first 2 sentences in 1 point, and then the second sentence in 1 point, and the last sentence in the last point. Here I'm gonna put full stop. Again, same thing, increase the font size, increase the spacing, 18, sorry. And also I'm gonna increase the space between the bullet point symbol and the text. And lastly, I'm gonna add a bullet point symbol. I'm gonna do it again here. Okay, and let's see how the slides turn out. So this is the first slide, and this is the second slide. One more thing I can do is, because the content is split into 2 slides, we are basically covering the same points or the same topic into 2 slides. So I need to tell the audience that this is basically a continuation of the first slide. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add cont abbreviation, sorry, C-O-N-T, and maybe here I'm gonna play a little bit with the font size. Let's say 46, and a little bit wider, maybe 44. That's perfect. Okay, so let's look again. So you can see here, this is the first slide, and this is the second slide. This is the first exercise. Now let's move to the second exercise. Now, if you look at the second exercise, you can see here a number of issues. First of all, the text here is quite unreadable. Also, images occupy a large space in the slide. The topic of the slide is how to overcome procrastination. But you can see here, for example, the Russian doll image is not related to the topic and doesn't add any value to the slide. In other words, it doesn't help conveying the messages within the slide. You need to know here that you as a presenter are trying to tell a story, and the text and images should help you telling that story in the best way possible to your audience. Now, we are talking about procrastination. You can see here that there are 2 relevant images. The first one is here, which is about somebody who is procrastinating, and the other image here is about people helping each other to overcome procrastination. So I'm gonna show you here how you can fix the issues here and also effectively use images to help you tell a story in your presentation. Let's start. I'm going first of all to delete this Russian doll image because it's not relevant to the topic of the slide. Then I'm gonna bring those two images to here for now. I'm gonna work on them later on. First of all, I'm gonna work on the text. So maybe I'm gonna increase the font size to 28 and also increase the width of the text box. And I'm gonna add bullet point symbols, increase the spacing between bullet points, and also add an indentation between the bullet point symbol and the text. Okay, it looks nice. Maybe I will bring the text a little bit down here. So that looks nice. Maybe also I'm gonna move the text box a little bit down, not too much. Now I'm gonna work on the images. Maybe I'm gonna make this image a little bit smaller. As I said before, the idea of images is to help you tell a story in your presentation. So I'm gonna arrange those images in a way that it makes sense for your audience. Now, as you can see here, you have a pre-situation, which is unfavorable, and also we have here a post-situation, which is favorable. So what we are trying to say here is that the situation was here not favorable when somebody was procrastinating, but by implementing those points here and help each other overcome procrastination, then we reach the situation in this image. I'd like to add usually shadow to my images. Let me see what kind of shadow I can add. Maybe I will add this kind of shadow. Now, as you can see here, I put the post-situation image in front of the pre-situation image, okay? Now, that looks fine, but also you can use other techniques. Usually, I'm not a fan of animations, but in this case, animations can help you tell a story. So what I'm gonna do is, first of all, I'm gonna blur this image by using an animation. So I'll go to animation. Here I will go to emphasize effects. Then I'm gonna choose transparency. Okay. Now, effects options, I will make transparency as 75%. Okay. So this is the first step. Then the second step, I'm gonna make this image enter the slide. So I will go there and then I will go to enter image, maybe more entrance effects. I see if I can choose something like nice. Stretch is very nice here. And then I click here. So let's try it now here. You can see. Okay, good. What I did here, basically, when you are presenting your ideas here, you're gonna say, okay, the past situation was behind us and now we have this new situation. Now, what I like to do is that make those two animations work at the same time. That makes it very nice. So as you can see here, the first image were blurred and the second image entered the slide. You can here also play with the duration of the animation. Maybe I will make it here 1 second. Okay, that looks a little bit nice. Maybe reduce it 75, and that looks fine. You can see here is that I arranged the text and images in a way that makes the slide readable, and also I added animation to help me tell a story in my presentation. Last thing, I will maybe move those images to here. Okay, and that looks perfect. So this is the second exercise. Now let's move to the third exercise. There are a few issues in this slide. First of all, you can see here that the slide title is a little bit big. You can also see that the bullet points are clustered on the left-hand side here. whereas we have an empty space on the right hand side here. A good slide design make use of all the slide body. So let's fix those issues. First of all, we need to remove the colon symbol because there is no need for it. Also, we need to reduce the font size of the title. We reduce the font size, try to adjust the place of the slide title. Then here we can see that all the bullet points are located on the left hand side. So first of all, we need to put the bullet points into 2 columns. So I put the bullet points into 2 columns, but nothing happened. However, we can see the difference when we change the font size. Let me put it 32. Maybe also I need to change the spacing between bullet points and also maybe add some indentation. It looks good, but let's move the text box a little bit up. That looks nice. Also, maybe we can change the color of the bullet point symbol to make it more apparent. And now let's look at this result. It is much better than before. We can still play with the spacing between bullet points and also the spacing between the columns. However, here I just need to add 1 white space or 2 white space to make the slide look nicer. Now this is the 3rd exercise. We still have 2 more exercises, which I'm not gonna do. I'm gonna explain those exercises to you and I will leave them as a homework for you. Now, the main issues with this slide is that, first of all, the background is a little bit dark while the font style is a little bit thin. So you need to change the font style and maybe put it in bold and also change the background color. Also, you can see here that the space allocated for the slide title is a little bit big. You can reduce that space as well. Each bullet point contains a large text. You can also summarize the bullet points. Lastly, you may increase the spacing between bullet points and also change the color of the bullet point numbers. This is my solution in which I fixed all those issues. Now for exercise 5, you can see here a typical case of using a template that negatively affects the readability of your slides. I always see students focus on using a fancy template for their presentation. However, what they should focus on is the readability of their slides. So maybe using a simple and clear slide design is much better than using a fancy slide design. So you can see here as well, a huge area within the slide body is just wasted for fancy design. You can see here also that the title is unnecessarily long. Also, the font color is a little bit light. Maybe you use a darker font color and increase the font size. So this is my solution in which I fixed those issues. As you can see here from the beginning that I replaced the long slide title with only 1 word, which is contents or the table of contents. Also here I used animations because in the table of content it might help to sequentially reveal the items in your table of contents to explain what you're going to cover in your presentation. So as you can see here, the first item, second item, third item, fourth item, and lastly the 5th item. As you can see as well, I used a clean and clear slide design. I increased the font size, the spacing between bullet points, and everything is clear and nice. So that's it all. If you want more information about how to improve the readability of your slides, I suggest that you read my blog article in which I listed all the issues with each one of those slides and also provided the solutions to fix those issues. I will put the link of my blog article in the description box below. Thank you very much for watching this video. Also, I would appreciate it if you read and comment on my blog article. Thank you very much and see you next time.